powerful people, and welcome back to Purple RX. It's Renata, your friendly, resourceful PharmD, here to help you navigate this health and wellness world. And today we're going to talk about something a little different. We're going to have I can't really have a discussion since this is not live, but we're going to talk about that article that was in, I think it was New York Post. It was also in the Daily Mail, where a transgender woman, she's going to sue her psychiatrist for approving gender transition after just one meeting. Okay, so we're going to get in a little deeper talk about this. And I'm going to be real. Warning, this may be triggering because I'm going to get real about the whole situation. And it's not just going to be focused on transgenders. It's going to be focused on society and kind of how society has kind of molded this situation to come about. And a part of that society is a part of it is also what our duty is and what we can do to maybe change that, to look at this differently, and to take responsibility for our part in this, because we all have a responsibility in our own decisions, in the moves we make, and in what's going on in life. Okay, so let's get into this. So apparently this woman at 19 decided to go to her psychiatrist, and the psychiatrist, after one visit, said, and this is taking place in Sydney, Australia. After one visit, he said that, okay, I'm going to approve you for the hormone transitioning therapy. And then from there, later on, 20-something, she got approved for transition surgery. So I'm going to speak from a couple of different dynamics. So first, starting off of one, the mental health in our society, and it's not just here in America, it is in a lot of places in this world. The mental health system and just our mental health period is poor. And it is poor because of the way society has kind of molded the people, especially even in America. We've become such a society of success. Do this, be perfect. This is how you have to look. This is how life has to look. Men and women are having problems right now. This is how a man is supposed to look. This exhibits a man. He has to have money. He has to look this way. If he's got long hair, it's wrong. If he's wearing a dress or some kind of garment, he's wrong. Even though in other cultures, plenty of men wear dresses. Things of, this is what a woman's supposed to look like. She can't be independent on her own, or a woman has to look this way, act this way. There are so many categories that we have decided to put people in, is where people are really having a hard time. One, that's on society, yes, but that's also our responsibility to know that we're just not going to be able to fit into one box. And a lot of people are learning that now. The locusts outside of my apartment are loud, but we're going to roll with it. So the thing is, a lot of us are getting caught in, am I a part of this group? We all in some way want to belong. We are all looking to be affirmed by somebody. And a lot of us have not learned to affirm ourselves. It can be a hard thing to affirm yourself when you were growing up and you didn't get the affirmation that you needed from parents, or you didn't get the love that was necessary for you to grow and develop from your parents or the family member who raised you or the person who may have raised you. And that is where our society has got into an even deeper problem. Because this has been, the way we've been treated and acted has been passed down from generation to generation. Oh, you just need to be tough. Oh, you just need to be this. And a lot of times, no matter how tough you are, you can still break. But a lot of us have decided to throw our own emotions to the side, throw our own needs to the side. And that's where a lot of times we get caught in situations where we don't know where to belong, or we're trying to belong somewhere. And that can be a hard thing. Belonging is kind of what a lot of people are longing for. You know, a lot of people, when they feel like, for me, take me, I'm a tomboy. High school, I used to dress like a boy. I probably at 15 or something, I started wearing skirts and dresses, but I was tomboyish. I had an older brother. That's who I hung out with a lot of times. And I like basketball. I like sports. I'm not the typical, I guess so, woman. I may not be put as feminine. A lot of my signs are pretty assertive and aggressive. I come from a line of assertive women, assertive people. So I go for what I want and I know what I want. But that can be intimidating to a lot of men and a lot of people. So I may not be the typical feminine woman for some people. And I may not have that picture. And that can be something hard where a lot of women may not fit into that. Or a lot of men may not fit into the exact category of what's masculine. They may have painted nails. They may have long hair. They may have more earrings. And a lot of people get ridiculed for that. And a lot of times I think people are trying to find their place or their group. And a lot of times when we get into that, that's where you can find yourself maybe being attracted to some people that feel you and that see part of you, but they don't fully see you. And I think that's where a lot of people are trying to fit into a group when there's no exact group you're going to fit in. Like, you as an individual are multifaceted. You have all these things going on. So you're not going to fit into this one pocket that you're allowing society to put you in. And I think that's what society has done. Well, because you dress like a man or because you like this, you seem like you're gay and you want to be a man. And it's like, maybe I like men, but I just dress like this because this is something I've learned, or this is something I liked, or this is something I feel comfortable in. And so we categorize people. And a lot of times people are categorized because it's easier. It is easier for us to see and understand that if we categorize you. And I think that's where a lot of people slip into this, I have to be this or look this way. Even when it comes to things like women getting BBLs and boobs and this, that, and this, because they want to fit into this facet of what's the trend for a body. No offense, body types should not be trends. There should be no trending in a body. No body is greater than the other. And we are treating it like, oh, this body is hot right now. Let's change. Like, really? Really? That is going to mess with a lot of people's makeup, trying to go with what society says is hot right now. Going with a body that society says, oh, this is great. This is where the BBL trend comes in. This is where the breast augmentation trend came in the 90s. And yeah, in the 90s is when that breast augmentation thing came around. I'm in Texas, so they like things big. So a lot of these things came up because they said, these are trends. This is hot. This is what looks good. And somebody has started a trend and people have gone with it. And a lot of times we can get stuck in that, especially when you're trying to identify who you are and you're looking outside of you to see who you are, when really all you need to do is look inside, because that's all you need to know is, who are you? Not how the world sees you, not what the world is supposed to say about you or is going to say about you, but who you are. And and you have to stand firm in that. But that takes a lot of self-work. And our society doesn't teach that. Our society doesn't teach self-work a lot of times. Even when you go in churches, it's supposed to be like this, but it's not a bunch of self-work. Here are the steps to really work on yourself. Here are the steps needed to understand yourself and understand who you are and where and how you see yourself. They just say you see yourself as God sees yourself, but some people that's just trying to put it simple, and it's not giving people the practical steps and the practical things that they need to understand about themselves and see about themselves and see what's been put in them and understand who they are. So that is point one, where I can see how she got into the situation that she got into. Now, also another thing in our society is all about a quick fix. So point number two, we are a quick fix society. It is easier to go get that surgery than it is to do the exercise or actually love your body for what it is and how it's been made. It is so much easier to go get those boobs, that breast, to go get something that is going to change your whole look, to fit into what you want to fit into, to be what you think you are supposed to be. There is so much that goes into that. Even when people are getting gastric bypass surgery because they want to lose all this weight, you can lose all the weight and still be depressed and still not like your body and still not like what's going on in the inside. I'm just going to be real. These surgeries aren't going to fix it. And we're going for the quick fix. And we're going to try and get stuff done to make us feel better. And body dysmorphia comes in all types of ways. It comes, yes, sometimes you'll see it in the transgender community, you'll see it in the female, the male, everybody. Gender dysphoria does not gender dysphoria, but body dysmorphia does not discriminate. And it is not going to discriminate. because a lot of times people aren't comfortable in the skin that they're in. And that's a hard thing to get to, especially when, like I said, society is giving you all these pictures of what you're supposed to look like, or who you should be, or how you should be. It can be very hard to be grounded in what your body looks like when other people have made comments on your body, when other people have told you your body is wrong and it is not right. That can be a very hard thing to deal with and to go through. But the thing about it is, the quick fix that society wants to make, that is giving a lot of these surgeons their money, and there's nothing wrong. I am not here to say don't get plastic surgery. I am not here to say nobody should ever have plastic surgery. Plastic surgery has done wonders for a lot of people, especially cosmetically, accidents, in a lot of ways. I am never saying that, but I am saying it is not a quick fix. It is not going to fix your problem. It is not going to change about yourself and make you happier, because sometimes people get into the trap of, oh, this made me look good and it built up my confidence, but then I want to go get another surgery and another surgery and another surgery. And they end up being somebody so unrecognizable to themselves and to other people. So we have to see this as, we have to start seeing surgery and things as outside of us, as a quick fix is not going to fix what's really going on inside of us, and how we really need to remove the trauma that we have gotten from other people projecting their own issues on us, other people telling us that we're not enough no matter how our body looks, even though we are enough because we were born here and we were meant to do something, whether that's at your home, your neighborhood, whatever. You were meant to be here for a reason. Let me slide into my next point. And my next point with this is, let's really talk about, do you think the suit is really necessary? Now, I don't know the laws in Australia. I don't even know the laws Sydney. I pretty much know the laws here, and the laws here are different state by state. How much you have to do, how much you have to deal with your psychiatrist, what you have to do before you get hormonal, before you get the hormonal, I forgot what it's called, before you start doing your hormone therapy. I don't know the exact laws. I know if you're younger than 19, you have to have a parent sign off on it. And I'm going to say something about that. I don't believe, and this is from a medical standpoint, anybody under 18 should even be doing this. Because as a child, you are still developing. You are still developing in that hormone stage. And when you change somebody's hormones, whether young, 19, 50, when you are changing hormones, you never know how somebody's body is going to react. Because hormones don't just have to do with testosterone and estrogen. Hormones have to do with insulin. It has to do with thyroid hormones. Your hormonal system is probably one of the larger systems in your body. Of course, your skin, yeah, it's going to be a larger organ. But your hormonal system is so important. The hormones you do from pituitary glands, all those hormones that are released within your body to get your heart rate going, to pump the blood throughout your body, to make things happen within your body, to allow medicine to be distributed, all those things that go into play, and hormones that need to be released for food, for all of these things that your body does on a daily basis is very intricate. And when you're starting to change those hormones, that can be a lot. Look at a woman going through menopause, perimenopausal, premenopause. Yeah, premenopause. Women are going through so much, especially with all the other things in our environment that are interacting and affecting our hormones. I just don't believe a young child should be going through that. At 18 and 19, I say, hey, it's your decision. But that's just my opinion. Just because of how hormones are going to interact and react within the body, and how much, yes, it's going to change the system to what you want it to do. But how down the line is that going to work for you? How is it going to affect your body? And the thing is, some it won't affect that much, but some will have a higher effect. Because what do I say on my channel? You aren't for everything, and everything isn't for you. Everybody's body is not going to react the same. Everybody's body is not going to do the same thing, especially if you have to put autoimmune diseases in there, along with all the things, like I said, the xenoestrogens that we interact with on a daily basis is going to have an effect on that hormone system. And I think that at such a young age, that can be a lot. And then you're affecting somebody at such a young age whose hormones are still developing. And I get it, you want to change them as soon as they're still developing, but how is that going to really affect that person and that person's body? And are they going to get what they really want, or is it going to cause other health issues? Now, down the line, I do not know. And again, it takes a larger study to see that. I can't take 10 people, 100 people and think, oh, this is how it's going to do. A lot of times, medicine is still in the studies when it comes out, years after it comes out. That's why they're recalling medicines years later, because they're still doing studies in the human population. Because when we interact with what's going on in the air, with the plastic containers, glass containers, things from the TV, things from our phones, all these things, excuse me, I spit, all these things that we interact with have an effect on our body and our hormones. And I think that needs to be taken into account, especially in somebody that's so young. Now, 18 to 19, that's your decision, but I still think it is going to affect somebody. But I know a lot of people want to be who they believe they're supposed to be. And I can't change that, and I'm not going to change it. But that is just my opinion. You may not agree. I get it. I understand that. But also what I want to take from this standpoint, I know in our mental health society, a lot of times that's how psychiatrists are. If you're in a hospital, psychiatrists may only see you for 15 minutes. Psychiatrists may not see you very, very long, especially if they don't have an outside practice, if they're only seeing you through a hospital, or even if they do have an outside practice, you may only see them for a short period of time, and then you see a therapist throughout the time that they may work with or that they are in conjunction with. And that is the thing. So they're there to really just prescribe from our society and what I understand and what I have dealt with. They're there to prescribe and give the prescription and give the okay. Now, in my years of practicing pharmacy, as well as being a patient, I have never known a doctor to give a second opinion or say, go get a second opinion. I've never seen or heard of a doctor saying, you need to go get a second opinion from another doctor. That is your responsibility. That is something I learned from a parent. That is something I learned from my aunt who's a cardiologist. If you don't agree with that person, go get a second opinion. But I have another question for you guys. She wanted that. So if she wanted that and he had said no, do you think she would have gone to another doctor? You would think she'd have been like, okay, I'm going to go with what you say. Don't you think she would have gone to another doctor? You know how many people say, well, I don't like what that person said, so I'm going to go to another doctor that's probably going to agree with me. How many times have people stopped going to places or stopped even having friends because that friend didn't agree with them, or those people didn't agree with them? At 19, if you want to do something, you're going to do something. And if somebody really agrees with you, you're down to do it. Now, I get it. She probably should have had more time with the psychiatrist. I agree. I don't know if there's any stipulations in Sydney, Australia. I agree. At least so many times you should be seeing the psychiatrist, and the psychiatrist should say that. But again, you may only see a psychiatrist for 15 minutes here. In our society, I don't know how Australia does it, but you see a psychiatrist for a very short period of time, and from that, they're like there to diagnose, as well from the therapist notes, diagnose as well as prescribed what needs to be prescribed. Now, and some psychiatrists may see you for 30 minutes, some may see you for an hour, depending on if they have an independent practice, and that's how they do their practice. But a lot of them are going through so many patients, especially with the mental illness and mental health on the rise, and people now seeing what's really going on with them. They're busy and they're in debt. That is no excuse for them to say, oh, you should just have only one visit, or I should give it in one visit. But that's something I really want you to think. If a doctor told you no, wouldn't you go and get the opinion that you wanted to another doctor? A second opinion is on you. I have never seen where a doctor has to give a second opinion or has to push you out to somebody to get a second opinion. A second opinion is always on you. And this brings me to probably my last point. It is our responsibility as patients, as people, to really be a part of our own care. We have relied so much on doctors nurses, on everybody else outside of us for our own health care. And there's a lot that we need to do because it's our bodies. We're the ones who know how medicine is going to react to us. We're the ones who know if this medicine is working or not. We're the ones here to give feedback. We're the ones to say what can and can't be done to our body, because you have to sign off on major surgeries. You have to sign, and you don't just sign one piece of paper. Here, when I went through my surgery, I signed off thousands of pieces of paper for months straight saying, yes, this is the surgery. And they repeated my name over and over again. And they asked me what surgery I'm getting. And they asked me what's going on. And do I really want it? Is that what I'm here for? Is that what I want to do? Here, you have to go through multiple people. They don't give you second opinions. Before you go through a surgery, you go through a few different people and say, okay, this is what you're going to go through. This is what you're going to go through. This is what you're going to deal with. And that was me getting a life-changing surgery and getting a transplant. I went to the doctor the doctor that diagnosed me. I went to that doctor, and that doctor was actually in New Orleans. And if you've heard my story, I had a cousin who actually worked at Baylor. So my mom wanted me to be closer to home to get that surgery so that she can care for me and she can work. And so the thing is, not only did I have my doctor there, because he's just a nephrologist. He is not a transplant surgeon or a post-transplant doctor. So I had to go and see doctors here and go through multiple doctors and pee in cups and do all these things. So you have time before that surgery to say, this is a surgery for me or not. Now, especially when you're getting breast implants or getting uterus taken out she went through multiple surgeries. I'm not going to say this is all her fault or his fault, but we have a responsibility to ourselves. When we are getting life-changing surgeries, you have to know what it comes with. And you have to know if you're really, really and truly ready for that. It is your job to get a second opinion. It is your job to know, is this for me? So many people are going into these surgeries that are going to change their body and change their life, and they're just going into it kind of willy-nilly. Oh, my surgery's in a few months. I'm just going to be ready. I just have to get this. I just have to get that. And that includes all these surgeries. That includes gastric bypass. That includes boob, breast implants. That includes, I haven't seen a man get calf implants, chest implants. All these things, we have to know and pay attention to the precautions. See as many doctors as you need to. Get as many consults as you need to. Because you need to get an understanding that no matter what, your life is going to change. Your life is not going to be the same. And that is something that even if a psychiatrist signed off on it, when you were talking to the surgery, your life is going to change. Getting any of those. Implants, BBLs, all of those. When you're doing a trans surgery, a lot of them may not have that much fat, or they've taken the hormones to get some fat, but they may not have enough fat to get a butt or to get boobs, and you're having to get implants. And if we're paying attention, a lot of people are getting implant sickness. A lot of people are their autoimmune is flaring up, or they're starting to get more autoimmune issues after having implants or having something that was injected into their body, because you don't know how your body is going to react to any of this. And you don't know how your life is going to change with these surgeries. And we have just made surgery like, oh, I'm just going to get one on Monday. Like, really? You just signed up? Yeah, I just paid my 10 G's. I'm just going to get it on Monday. And it's like, come on. This is life-changing. I know you're going to be cute afterwards. I know you're going to have the body you think you want afterwards. But are you really ready for this? Are you ready for the looks you may get? Whether you get those looks before or after surgery, are you going to be happy with what you have no matter what? And I don't think a lot of people are thinking about that when they go into these. They're just thinking about what they want and thinking it's going to be this glorious thing afterwards. And that's not everybody's story. And that's not going to be for everybody. Just like, look at Botched. Yes, there's only a few stories here or there. Well, actually, Botched was all about botched stories. But there are so many more people that are having issues that maybe aren't talking about it or we aren't seeing. And we're going into these things lightly because we really want the change. We really want to be something different instead of really seeing what is going on inside of us. And like I said, it is a duty of the psychiatrist to really say that and figure that out. But you got to remember, a psychiatrist, especially in America, you aren't seeing a psychiatrist for long. You are mainly seeing their therapist, or you may not see a psychiatrist as many times as you see a therapist. And the thing is, the doctor recommended that psychiatrist, if I don't recall, and told her this is what you should go to, and left a note for the doctor. This is what I see. This is what this person wants. This and this. So the doctor probably took that information, because remember, if you're getting transferred, or if a doctor is recommending you to another doctor, if they're doing that one because he can't write a prescription for that, that doctor is going to give a whole load of notes and conversations that they've had between doctors. And they are going to dictate everything they say. I will tell you that working in a psych hospital, they will dictate and write notes all day. Whether it's 15 minutes or not, they got a page worth of notes from that 15 minutes. And based off what they see from the therapist notes, they have plenty of information. Don't think they don't. Don't think they dictate. Like, again, I don't know how I do in Australia, but I know here, I see plenty of notes. I see plenty of thick notes in a chart. And they get everybody's notes. A tech, whoever, anybody that's around, they want everybody's notes and information that comes up. So there are going to probably be plenty of notes to back that up. Again, I don't know in Australia, but in a lot of places here, there are plenty of, they try to do plenty of documentation to make sure all this adds up. All this adds up, because anything could be a suit, but all of this has to add up in some way or another if they're good at documentation. And the thing about it is not just on the doctor, it's also on you. It is your responsibility, yours, to be a part of your own healthcare and needs, especially a life-changing surgery. That should have been your first thought. I really want to do this. He only saw me, I'd have felt some kind of way. You only saw me once? Let me go see if I can find another psychiatrist that deals with transgender and gender dysphoria. Let me go find another doctor that does that automatically, especially if you're wanting to get such an intense, life-changing, bodily changing surgery. Make sure you are doing your due diligence to yourself, because you have to remember, a lot of these doctors, everybody's going to have some mental fog and a lot of things. A lot of these doctors are doing so much. And I am not saying doctors need a break, and I'm not saying doctors don't have a responsibility. They definitely do have a responsibility. But it's also your responsibility to say no, to say, I need something else. I need to do this again. Especially when something is so life-changing and will change the whole dynamics of your world. We have to be cautious. So there is a responsibility on both sides. One visit, I don't think one visit was enough. I think there needed to be maybe more than one visit with that psychiatrist. There was a few visits, more than one visit before hormonal changes. Maybe that person should have asked questions. But I gotta be real. At 19, are you really ready for something life-changing like that? Even at 19. Because at a young age, 19, 20, she's just getting to this now that she's 40. I think it's 30 or 40. I don't know how old she is. Let me see. She's now 31. So now 31, she's seeing the light. But at 19, you're ready to do what you want to do, however you want to do it. And can't nobody tell you nothing, because you're grown now. You are officially, legally grown. So a lot of times when you're officially, legally grown, if somebody is agreeing to do what you want to do, you're going to go with that. You're not going to question that. Why would you question that? Because you haven't questioned yourself. Why would you question that? Who would question that? If we really want to be real, would you be like, I think I'm going to try another doctor? No, if that doctor is doing exactly what you want and affirming what you think is right for you, you're going to go with it a lot of times. And then you want to come back later at 31 and say, I'm going to sue you because you only saw me once. You were also the one who volunteered to take the hormones. You were also the one who volunteered to lay on the table. There is a responsibility on both parts, and I think people need to start seeing that in healthcare and in life, period. There is a responsibility. Yes, one visit should have been more than one visit for that hormonal therapy. I get that. But there also is, we have a responsibility to ourselves. We are trying to make everybody else more responsible for us than we are trying to make ourselves responsible for situations. And that is where you're unbalancing the scales, and you're making, and you're wanting to put the blame on somebody else for what you were a part of in the situation. And I get it. It's easier to point the finger out than it is in. It is so much easier to do that. But we all have to take responsibility in the parts that we've played in our lives and the changes that we've made in our lives and a lot of things that we've gone on. And I get it. Society has kind of brainwashed us and programmed us in a lot of ways that it's easy to just do this. It's easy to go get a surgery. It's easy to change this for your life. If you don't want it anymore, you don't have to have it. And I think we're getting caught up in that, and we need to really get caught up in who we are, what we need, what we deserve, because you deserve the due diligence and you need to do it for yourself. We can't rely on anybody else to do the due diligence for our lives. We have to rely on ourselves and what we deserve. That is a big part of knowing what you deserve for yourself. The due diligence to know, I didn't feel right about this. I don't like this. But she probably felt right at 19 because that's what she really wanted. And the thing is, you have to check your own feelings. Be aware of your feelings. Question your feelings. That is how you get an understanding of what's really going on. Because it's the way it sounds like is she was looking for the doctor to fix her instead of, and I'm going to be real with you, going to psychiatry, going to therapy, going to church. Great, you will get the information, but it's not going to fix you. You have to actually do the work. You actually have to do the work. And the reason, and something else I want to get on this channel. The reason I probably talk about mental health a lot is because mental health plays a big part in emotional health, the energy that we bring, the energy that we take on, the things that we do, and that plays a lot in your physical health. We are an ecosystem. That plays a lot in the decisions you're making to take care of your body. Are you really dealing with the anxiety? Do you understand the anxiety? Do you understand the family trauma that's being passed down to you? Because that is really going to help you see what familial diseases maybe keep happening because that trauma is being passed down and things that you're holding on to. So that's a whole nother story for a whole nother time. That's a whole nother talk that we can have. But that is why I segue and have all these talks about so many different things, because it all ties into your healthcare and are you taking care of you? Because that is the only way that you are going to be, your body is going to be at its best and you're going to be fully cared for. So I hope this conversation was enlightening. Please comment down below if you agree, if you disagree, if you got something to say. I'm ready to hear it all. Like I said, this is probably triggering to some, and you probably won't agree with everything I say, and that's okay. I'm okay with that. Look, you aren't for everything, and everything isn't for you. So check me out next time, and we'll have something else to talk about. I do a lot of different things. My niece is on here sometimes. I sometimes go and do things as an immunocompromised patient and what affects me. And we're also going to just have talks about all those different things. I'm here to talk about whatever, whenever. I am a PharmD, but I am also a patient. So I understand from both of those points of how difficult both sides can be. So please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And I'll see you guys next time. Thank you.